Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will dive deep into the heartfelt goodbye Port Charles is preparing for the legendary Monica Quartermaine. As fans gear up for an emotional roller coaster honoring her enduring spirit, in the bustling world of Port Charles, a wave of sorrow is sweeping through as residents and viewers alike ready themselves to say a poignant farewell to Monica Quartermaine, the steadfast matriarch whose presence has anchored General Hospital for decades. The news of her peaceful passing in her sleep, gently uncovered by her devoted son Jason Morgan, has left the community in quiet reflection, prompting a funeral that's expected to be a tapestry of tears, memories, and celebration. As the show pays tribute to both the character and the remarkable actress Leslie Charleson, who departed this world in January 2025, there's a collective hope among the fanbase that the spotlight remains firmly on Monica's unyielding strength, her pivotal role in the Quartermaine dynasty, and the profound legacy she leaves behind. Instead of dredging up the more turbulent episodes from her storied life, many are advocating for a narrative that highlights her triumphs as a brilliant surgeon, a fierce family protector, and a woman who weathered countless storms with grace. Imagine the scenes unfolding at the Quartermaine mansion, where floral arrangements overflow and old photographs evoke smiles amid the grief. This is the dignified send-off Monica deserves. One that underscores her evolution from a complex figure to an icon of resilience. Recent conversations in the storyline, particularly those intimate exchanges between the ever-scheming Lucy Coe and the sharp-tongued Tracy Quartermaine, have beautifully illuminated the unbreakable bond between Monica and her late husband Alan Quartermaine. These moments served as a touching reminder that despite Lucy's persistent efforts to lure Alan away, their love was destined, a true soulmate connection that withstood every trial. Tracy's candid admissions painted a vivid picture of a romance that defied interference, emphasizing how Monica's quiet determination and deep affection kept their marriage intact. Through the chaos of Port Charles' life, fans have cherished these revelations, as they not only humanize Monica, but also showcase her as the emotional cornerstone of the Quartermaine family. Adding to this, one could envision expanded flashbacks in the tribute episodes, perhaps exploring untold stories of their early courtship, like secret rendezvous in the hospital gardens or shared dreams of building a legacy together. These elements reinforce the theme of enduring love, steering clear of the shadows and focusing on the light Monica brought to those around her. As the funeral approaches, with characters like Brooklyn Quartermaine potentially sharing anecdotes of Monica's guidance, it's clear that honoring this aspect of her life will provide a healing balm for both the on-screen family and the devoted audience. Yet, as we prepare for this emotional chapter, there lingers a concern among loyal viewers about the potential resurfacing of Monica's more scandalous history. This chapter's filled with passion, betrayal, and regret that, while dramatic, risk overshadowing her positive contributions. The show's writers have a delicate balance to maintain. Celebrate the matriarch's virtues, without unearthing the dirt that could tarnish the moment. Enthusiasts are vocal on social media, pleading for a script that prioritizes Monica's professional achievements and familial bonds over the salacious twists that once defined her early arcs, inventing new layers to her legacy, such as unexplored tales of her mentoring young doctors or her quiet philanthropy in Port Charles, could enrich the tribute without delving into controversy. This approach would allow the funeral to serve as a beacon of inspiration, reminding everyone of Monica's growth from a woman entangled in drama to a pillar of stability. With Jason and Michael Corinthos slated to deliver moving eulogies, perhaps touching on her role in bridging family divides or her unwavering support during crises, like the Casadini threats, the emphasis should be on upliftment rather than revisiting old wounds. Delving into one of the more infamous skeletons in Monica's closet, the affair with Rick Webber stands out as a particularly thorny episode. From her early days in Port Charles, this steamy entanglement not only shattered the foundations of her marriage to Alan, but also introduced layers of deception that left lasting scars on the Quartermaine household. Picture the intensity of those times. Monica, caught in a whirlwind of forbidden attraction to Rick, whose charm and shared history pulled her away from her vows, while Alan simmered with jealousy and hurt. The triangle escalated to dramatic heights, culminating in Rick's return to his true love Leslie Webber, abandoning Monica in a state of public embarrassment and private turmoil. To compound the pain, she discovered her pregnancy with A.J. Quartermaine, initially wishing he were Rick's child rather than Alan's, a revelation that fueled years of family tension. Fans recoil at the thought of funeral flashbacks dredging up this mess, which portrayed Monica as a disruptor in others' lives before her path to redemption. Instead, why not expand on her later years, inventing fresh details like her secret diary entries reflecting on personal growth, or her efforts to mend fences with Leslie in unspoken ways? Analyzing this section, it's evident that while the affair added soap opera flair, it risks painting Monica in a one-dimensional light. A more nuanced tribute could highlight how she transformed betrayal into strength, becoming a better leader at General Hospital. With eulogies from figures like Jason, who might speak to her maternal wisdom, the plea is strong: lock this chapter away and let Monica's legacy shine untarnished. Another blot on Monica's romantic record that fans are eager to keep under wraps is her ill-fated fling with Dr. Pierce Dorman during the turbulent 1990s. A brief but explosive detour that exposed vulnerabilities in her otherwise composed facade. Amid a rocky period in her marriage to Alan, Monica succumbed to Pierce's attentions, only for his growing obsession to unravel everything in a spectacle of public disgrace. The exposure not only jeopardized her sterling reputation as a top surgeon at General Hospital, but also rippled through her family, straining relationships and forcing her to confront the consequences of her choices. Envision the fallout: whispered gossip in the hospital corridors, judgmental stares from colleagues, and the emotional toll on her children as the scandal made headlines in Port Charles. Attendees like Dr. Portia Robinson and Dr. Terry Randolph, who represent the next generation of medical professionals, would surely prefer the funeral to celebrate Monica's groundbreaking work in oncology, or her advocacy for ethical practices rather than this regrettable lapse. To add depth, we could imagine invented extensions to her story, such as her post-affair initiatives to establish support groups for hospital staff dealing with personal crises, turning a low point into a catalyst for positive change. In breaking down this fiasco, it's clear the fling was a product of emotional vulnerability, but revisiting it could detract from her overarching narrative of professionalism and poise. Let's urge the writers to pivot toward her victories, ensuring the send-off remains a testament to her medical prowess. No discussion of Monica's past heartaches would be complete without addressing the devastating blow dealt by Alan's own infidelity with Susan Moore, which introduced Jason into the world and tested Monica's fortitude to its limits. This betrayal, played out in the harsh light of public scrutiny, struck at the core of their marriage, leaving Monica to grapple with humiliation as she learned of Alan's secret child. The pain was palpable. Forced to integrate Jason into the family while rebuilding trust, Monica navigated a minefield of emotions that many fans still find raw and relatable. Lucy's recent musings on her failed attempts to win Alan only underscore Monica's resilience in holding onto their love despite such profound hurt. With the possibility of Monica's sister making an unexpected appearance at the funeral, perhaps to share stories of their shared childhood dreams, the focus should shift to celebrating that inner strength rather than reopening old scars. Inventing new elements, like Monica's untold letters to Jason expressing her eventual acceptance and love, could provide a fresh, healing perspective. Examining this heartbreak reveals how it forged Monica's character, teaching her forgiveness and fortitude. But fans implore the show to bypass the rehash and instead honor her as the glue that kept the Quartermaines together through adversity. As General Hospital navigates this pivotal storyline, the question looms: will the powers that be deliver a graceful homage to Leslie Charleston's portrayal of Monica, emphasizing her grace, intelligence, and unbreakable spirit? Or will they succumb to the temptation of unearthing buried scandals for dramatic effect? The fan community is united in their desire for a tribute that elevates rather than exposes, allowing Monica Quartermaine to exit the stage with the dignity she embodied. From her leadership at the hospital to her role as a family anchor, there's a wealth of positive material to draw from, potentially including new invented vignettes like her quiet acts of kindness toward Port Charles newcomers or her influence on emerging storylines. In the end, this farewell isn't just about saying goodbye, it's about immortalizing a character who defined resilience in the face of chaos. Next, we will explore the stunning upheaval in Port Charles, as Drew Kane Quartermaine makes an unwelcome entrance at Monica Quartermaine's memorial, igniting a firestorm of speculation about his drastic downfall from grace. In the heart of Port Charles, tensions are skyrocketing as Drew Kane Quartermaine, once a beacon of heroism, boldly steps into the somber atmosphere of Monica Quartermaine's memorial service, only to face a wall of disdain from those gathered to honor her memory. This unexpected arrival sends ripples of shock through the crowd, with family members and friends visibly recoiling at the sight of a man who has morphed into an unrecognizable shadow of his former self. Gone is the valiant Navy SEAL who commanded respect and admiration upon his introduction to the show years ago. In his place stands a figure embroiled in controversy and poor choices that have alienated even his closest allies. Fans are left pondering the catalyst behind this transformation. Was it a sudden moral lapse, without rhyme or reason, or does a darker force lurk in the background, adding layers to this mystery? Whispers of Caesar Faison's insidious influence keep surfacing in recent episodes, prompting theories that this notorious villain might have orchestrated Drew's alarming personality shift through some form of covert programming or brainwashing. Imagine the scene at the memorial, hushed conversations turning to outright gasps as Drew approaches the casket, his presence a stark reminder of how far he's fallen, perhaps even hinting at unfinished business from Monica's own tangled history with family secrets. As we dissect this enigma, it's worth considering invented scenarios where Drew's intrusion sparks private confrontations, like a tense sidebar with Jason Morgan, forcing a reckoning about their shared past and the Quartermaine legacy. Delving deeper into the speculation, the possibility that Caesar Faison could have tampered with Drew's mind emerges as a chilling prospect, especially given Faison's infamous track record of psychological manipulation and experimental horrors on General Hospital. This arch-villain, presumed dead, but with a habit of dramatic resurrections, might have seized an opportunity to implant directives or alter Drew's psyche, turning him from a principled hero into a self-serving antagonist. The timing and method of such interference remain shrouded in mystery, but clues point to pivotal moments in Drew's recent storyline that could have provided the perfect window for Faison's schemes. For instance, envision a clandestine operation where Faison, operating from the shadows, uses advanced neurotechnolographs, a fictional device inspired by his past memory-altering experimental reprogrammed Drew during a vulnerable phase, embedding triggers that activate his worst impulses. Analyzing this angle reveals how it ties into the show's broader themes of identity theft and mental coercion, much like the torments inflicted on characters such as Jason or Anna Devane in earlier arcs. With Faison's name echoing through current dialogues, it's not a stretch to imagine him as the puppet master, pulling strings to destabilize Port Charles once more. And this theory gains traction as we await confirmation of his potential return to the canvas. The anticipation builds among viewers for Caesar Faison's possible comeback to ABC General Hospital, fueled by a series of ominous red flags suggesting his influence here, that of his twisted associates lingers in the shadows, orchestrating chaos reminiscent of past atrocities. These indicators include unexplained resurrections and bizarre experiments that echo the malevolent legacies of figures like Britt Westburn and her brother Nathan West, both tied to Faison's dark empire of mind control and genetic meddling. Port Charles has seen its share of such villainy, from underground labs conducting forbidden research to operatives carrying out Faison's unfinished agendas. And now these elements seem to converge around Drew's downfall. To expand on this, one could invent a subplot where anonymous messages or cryptic symbols appear in Port Charles, hinting at Faison's survival and linking back to his Scandinavian hideouts from classic episodes. A detailed breakdown of these signs shows a pattern: sudden personality reversals, memory lapses, and connections to Faison's family tree, all pointing to a larger conspiracy that could engulf the town in fresh turmoil. As fans piece together these puzzles, the excitement mounts for a reveal that might expose a network of Faison's disciples, continuing his work, blending nostalgia with new terror. Reflecting on Drew's journey, it's impossible to ignore how he transitioned from an upstanding family man to a pariah, akin to an unwelcome odor that sours every room he enters, leaving Port Charles residents desperate to distance themselves. This stark evolution begs the question of the exact turning point, which many pinpoint to the harrowing conclusion of his incarceration in Pentonville Penitentiary, a period marked by violence and uncertainty. Precisely 2 years ago in September, Drew endured a brutal assault that nearly claimed his life, an incident shrouded in ambiguity despite suspicions falling on Cyrus Renault, who intriguingly alerted guards in time to intervene. This event occurred roughly 7 months after Britt Westburn's supposed demise, a death that carried the hallmarks of orchestration, possibly by her own father, Faison. Post-beating, Drew's demeanor underwent a radical overhaul, shedding his Navy SEAL valorance, a source of pride for Monica and the Quartermaines, for a veneer of sleaziness that has made him the most reviled figure in town. Inventing fresh details, Picture undercover prison logs revealing mysterious visitors during Drew's recovery. Perhaps Faison's agents administering subtle hypnotic suggestions disguised as medical treatments. Examining the shift highlights a narrative oversight. Characters have scarcely questioned the why behind it, likely due to initial writing choices now being retrofitted with deeper explanations, transforming what seemed like abrupt character development into a calculated plot twist. The possibility of an untreated traumatic brain injury from that Pentonville beating offers a grounded explanation for Drew's descent, potentially sparking a profound personality alteration that eroded his heroic core into something utterly detestable. Alternatively, a more nefarious scheme could be at play, with Faison or a like-minded evildoer exploiting the chaos to mold Drew into a monstrous version of himself through insidious means. A subtle clue that's flown under the radar is the mansion Drew purchased for himself and Willow Tate, eerily identical to the set once used by Hank Shiloh Archer for his cultish Dawn of Day operations, a location steeped in the history of memory mapping experiments that originally implanted Jason's memories into Drew. This reuse might be no coincidence, serving as a deliberate Easter egg for eagle-eyed fans, signaling a return to those brainwashing roots. To enrich this, imagine hidden compartments in the house uncovering old Dawn of Day artifacts, like encrypted files linking back to Faison's international network of mad scientists. A closer look at this connection underscores the show's penchant for cyclical storytelling, where past experiments resurface to haunt the present, potentially positioning Drew as an unwitting pawn in a revived scheme. Up until his imprisonment for insider trading to shield Carly Spencer, Drew embodied integrity, but his post-prison persona has baffled fans, evolving into a sleazy operator that clashes with his established backstory. The back-to-back revivals of two of Faison's offspring, Britt and Nathan, intensify suspicions that the patriarch himself could soon re-emerge, especially with Nathan's amnesia spanning 7 years and hints of experimentation by someone like the enigmatic Dalton. Nina Reeves' stunned reaction to her brother's return, coupled with his memory voids, paints a picture of Faison's ruthless experimentation even on his own kin, making it plausible he'd target Drew without hesitation. Official spoilers from writer interviews tease an expansion of the Faison-Obrecht clan, suggesting more revelations ahead. Inventing an extension, envision Faison lurking in a high-tech lair, monitoring Drew via implanted devices, his transformation a test run for broader domination. In analyzing these developments, it's apparent that if Faison has indeed clawed his way back from the grave like his children, his hand in Drew's corruption fits seamlessly, turning a good man into a grotesque villain, and setting the stage for explosive confrontations in Port Charles.